Hello Stampers and welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how to make these beautiful cards with a free stamp set called In the Country. It's free with a $15 order during Saleabration. Saleabration runs through 28 February and there's a lot of free items you can get for a $50 or $100 order. It's best to check my website because they've added more items to Saleabration and there's a lot more that you can get now. So these cards were a lot of fun to make. I used my watercolor pencils and let's get started. So the first thing that I did was I cut the frames out, and to do that I used this beautiful die set called Frame Florets Dies. It cuts out, these are the dies, there's 13 of them total, and they actually cut out 15 different shapes. These are the shapes that they cut out. These are the inner parts of the oval frames, and then these really pretty different frames and flowers. Really nice. Unfortunately, this was so wildly popular that it's not going to be available again until March 27th, but this is definitely one of those die sets you have to have, because I've used it almost every month for my stamp club and I just really have enjoyed having these beautiful oval frames. So this particular card works a lot better if you use a Stamparatus, which is really nice for repeat stamping as well as just getting a second chance. And you'll see what I mean as I make this card. So I went ahead and marked these oval shapes already with my Sharpie, and though it's permanent, all you have to do is put some alcohol on a cotton ball and it'll clean it off, and so you don't have to have that forever. But it was very helpful for my stamp club and really for me too, to have somewhere to line it up. And then what we're going to do is I'm taking my memento pad and I'm going to ink up this image. And so you can just look and see how you did. I think it's pretty well inked. And whacking my light here. Then you just want to press down on the image. And it's pretty good, but I think it could be better. And that's really why we're using the Stamparatus. A lot of times with these fine line stamp sets, a second pass really makes the image a lot crisper, and with the Stamparatus you don't wiggle, and so it comes out just really beautiful. But okay, the stairs could really use a little bit more ink, so I'm gonna just do one more pass. I don't usually have to do that much, but it's a little more difficult for me to do this on the video, so gosh, maybe I need to re-ink my pad. Let's try one more time. There we go. Yeah, sometimes when these pads, the memento pads, are alcohol inks, and sometimes they dry out if the lid stays off too long, and so that's probably what happened. And though I'm not going to make the second card, I'm just going to show you the second image. All right, so I'm just putting the magnet on to hold it down. And to do that, I'm just going to flip this around. And I already previously lined everything up, so all I have to do now is just ink it up. Probably the whole table's shaking when I do that. And give it another pass. This would look better. There we go. Okay, I can see that I need a little more right there. Okay, which is, you can't even see it on the camera. I apologize. Okay, that looks good. So that's the second image, which I probably won't do. Now what I generally do is just take this off, and I'll just go rinse this off in the sink and take a paper towel to dry it. I'm not going to do that on my video. But then you can take like a wipey or something and just wipe off the excess ink on the Stamparatus. So there's that. The memento pad, you always want to store it upside down so that the felt is towards the bottom. The regular Stampin' Up! Stamp pads you store right side up, but this one you store upside down. I like to put the lid on right away because, like I said, that one in particular seems to dry out pretty quickly. All right, so this is where the fun begins. I'm using my watercolor pencils, which I really enjoy using, and basically the harder you press, the darker the ink will be, or the pencil. It's not really ink. And so I wanted to have kind of darker in the doorway, so I'm pressing pretty hard in the archway here. And I had gray here. I did it pretty hard in the door jamb. All right, and then I had gray on the steps, but now I'm just doing it a little bit more lightly. And you don't have to totally color it perfectly because you're going to use water to spread the pencil around. That's what's totally cool about this. This technique does not work with regular pencils. These are special pencils. They're watercolor pencils. They're designed to be used with water. I mean, they don't have to be used with water, but it's really beautiful what they do. And actually this one has a lot of gray. I'm going to do the sides of the castle in gray too. And once again, I'm not coloring it perfectly, and you'll see why in a minute, because I'm going to be moving that pencil around with my watercolor brush. So there's that. Looks pretty good. And I thought that these flowers looked really pretty in purple. So once again, I'm not being particularly careful because the water's going to move this pencil around for me. And I did these also in purple. I don't know about you, but I am really ready for summer, and this kind of reminds me of summer, and I really like planting a garden, especially flowers. So this card just appeals to me. And I've actually given several of these out already because they make really nice sympathy cards. Sadly, I've needed a lot of them recently. So that's what this today is going to be, a sympathy card. And so there's another little pot hiding under there, and I'm going to do, actually I was using Melon Mambo for my pink Nut Flirty Flamingo. So there's some Melon Mambo, and I'm going to do, I don't know, maybe these are geraniums or something. Here, I'm going to put a little bit more purple here because this vine's climbing up a little further. And then I did the door. Let's do the door in Flirty Flamingo so it's a little bit different than the Melon Mambo. And I thought just gave it a little pop of color to do the door like that. All right, and then the sky I did in Balmy Blue. So, you know, it just kind of brings back the days of coloring. It's pretty fun, and I really enjoy coloring and painting. And what I really enjoy is how good it all looks. Even though maybe I'm not the world's best artist, I feel like I am when I use these products. All right, then I use Early Espresso. I didn't on the card I showed you, but I'm going to use it on this one for the ground because it's probably like brown ground. And I'm going to do the I think it's a feeding, I don't know if it's like a water trough or a flower pot, but there's no flowers in it. I didn't know what this was really supposed to be, so maybe, you know, you'd water your horses at it, or maybe it's a watering trough is what I kind of decided it was. I don't know, it's hard to say. So if it's a water trough, I'm going to go ahead and just put some water in it. And oh, let me add some more Melon Mambo to these flowers here. I missed them. And I think that that's about it. All right, so now is where the magic occurs. You take these water brushes, and there's water in them. You can unscrew them and add more water, but if you push on the push where it says push, you'll squeeze out a little bit of water. There we go. It needed a little more coaxing. All right, and so now I'm gonna start, I think I'll start with the I'll start with the pink, with the Melon Mambo, and see how pretty that is. It's just like all of a sudden you're watercoloring, and it fixes all the little mistakes I made. And you don't want to have too much water on your brush, by the way, when you do this. But there, isn't that pretty? And then you want to squeeze the water out. Of course, I can't see a napkin or anything. I'm just gonna squeeze it on this piece of paper to clean. I'm squeezing water, and I'm just gonna clean the brush off by squeezing water out. And there, it's clean now. And I'm gonna do the purple next. And see, even though I didn't really do that good of a job coloring it, now you can do a better job. And it's watercolors, right? So you're supposed to kind of, you know, overshoot the lines a little. So it's sort of impressionistic versus just being perfectly colored. I mean, that's how it's supposed to be. So, and I think it looks pretty good. All right, I'm going to squeeze the water out again and change colors. I'm just squeezing where it says push. You have to do that. You have to squeeze at the push, otherwise it doesn't work. And I think I'll do the sky next. And I found that if I colored up and down, vertical instead of horizontally, it looked more realistic. Realistic. Not moralistic. There we go. And I'm going to get in there closer to the building. And I want a little more color there, so I'm going to just add a little more and maybe some more up here. And there, how pretty is that? And clean the brush again. Then I'm going to go to gray, which is, I have a lot of gray going on here. Start off with the sides of the building. There's other techniques you can also do with the watercolor brush. I'm just getting dry here, so I'm going to add a little more water to it. I'm not going to show them to you today, but maybe I'll do another video sometime to show you different techniques you can do with the watercolor pencils. But they're a cheap way to get a lot of colors and just have a lot of fun. If you get both assortments, you get, what, 13 plus another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 23 total colors when you get them both. And they're all in the Stampin' Up! Colors, which is really nice. Now I'm going to do the stairs, which you almost don't have to do because with all the shading from the stamp set, you can hardly see it. But it really does kind of smooth out the white areas. So. And last, I'm going to do this archway. I don't want to get it too wet because I want it to stay darker. Oh, you know what? I realized I forgot to do the trough. So let me go back and do that. Cleaning my brush again, squeezing out water. And now I'm going to do the trough. And there was a little blue there, but now it's gone because I colored it out. There we go. Oh, and I got to do the water inside the trough, but I am almost done with this card. And oh, I forgot to do this, which is the I did the pots in Cajun Craze. What did I say? The water. I haven't done the water yet. Okay. I got it all now. That's so pretty, isn't it? So yeah, just to clean this, you can either run it under water to get the rest of the ink out, rest of the pencil out, or just squish it like I am. Usually I use a cleaning pad, but I couldn't reach one, so this is what I did. And all right, this is the frame that goes on there. I went ahead and ran this through my embossing folder, the Cane Weave embossing folder. And I have a piece of cardstock, which is 8.5 by 4 1/4. I scored it down the middle. And I'm going to take my bone folder and give it a nice crisp edge. And so there's an emboss side and a deboss side on all embossing folders, but I prefer the emboss side for this one. I think it looks better. Sometimes I prefer the deboss side, but really it's just a matter of personal preference. So I prefer to use tape when I use the embossing folder. I think that that works a lot better than glue for an adhesive, because it's got all this texture going on, and I just feel like the tape holds it better than the glue. And I'm going to just hover it around the corners to get it framed nicely in the center. Now this is where it gets a little tricky. I meant to grab a paintbrush to put the glue on, but I forgot. So I'm just going to do the best we can. This would work better with a fine tip glue, which I also have, but it's not handy. So I'm just going to kind of gently put some glue on there. You really don't want to put too much on or it'll ooze out and make your card sticky. So this is working now. I did make a bunch of these, and I did use my paintbrush. It worked really nicely. You just basically squeeze out some glue on a surface, and then you can take your paintbrush and just paint the glue on it. Works really nicely. But this is working too, so there we go. And I just kind of take my finger and dab up any extra glue, but I did pretty well. Now, because this was wet, it is a little curved, so you might want to just sort of fold it back so sort of flatter. And I'm going to put my glue on here. Can you see what I'm doing? You can. Alrighty. And now I'm going to just slide it in my frame. Press it down really well, because like I said, it does like to curve up. And the last thing I did was I took 2 pieces of baker's twine. In this case I did the blue and the gray, which matched, I thought, pretty nicely, and made a little bow. And I took a glue dot to glue it on. I don't think I can reach any glue dots, so you're just going to have to take my word for it. But that's what really works best to hold the bow down, is a little glue dot. A little bit tricky to tie these bows, double bows, but I hope I meant to pre-tie these, because I'm really not that good at them. All right, let's try again. Not sure anybody's any good at them. I know my stamp club ladies are always asking me to tie their bows, which are kind of funny because I'm really not that great at it, but we usually muddle through. Get her done. Here we go. If you just kind of keep pulling at it and adjusting it, you can get them pretty good. So see, this one's kind of large and wonky, but if you just pull on this, and it looks like this one needs a little tighter pull, and that's just not too bad, is it? Take your scissors and cut it. Oh, I see glue dots. Yay. Okay, I do have some glue dots. So you just want to take this and push it against the glue dot to pull them off. You don't really want to touch it with your hands, otherwise you're going to get like oils on the adhesive. It won't work as well. And there, I am done. The last step on this card, like I said, I used this for sympathy cards. I took a sending sympathy stamp that I had. Actually, I think it was from Saleabration last year or maybe 2 years ago. I don't know. I really like it. I feel like it's not inked up very well, so I just want to test it. Oh, looks good. All right. And there you go. I have a sympathy card. And it's so pretty. Would make a nice card for anything really, but to me I thought this was a nice sympathy card. Anyway, have a great day, and hopefully I can get a chance to put more videos out. If you made it this far, please like my video, please subscribe to my channel. I really could use all the support I can get. And here was the other card made up. It's quite pretty too. Have a good day. Bye now.